Our next inductor at this time, Peter B.
When I first got the phone call from Joel Davis saying, "Yo, brah, I got some news. Joe Broen called me and I'm being inducted in the Hall of Fame." I was like, "Good for you, bro, you deserve it." He said, "I need a favor. I want you to do my induction speech." I have never been asked to do something so difficult in my life. Because let's face it, what can I say about Joel Davis he hasn't already said? But I thought about it, and I realized what an honor it is. I'm sitting here today, standing here, and I'm looking out, and I'm seeing a group of people I've sweated with, I've bled with, and I've had some great times with, laughed with, cried with, and it's all because of Joel Davis, because he's the man that brought me in to this craft. He's the man that taught me about respecting those who came before. He's the man that taught me everything I learned about being professional in what I do, how I act, how I behave. Joel Davis taught me all the good things about wrestling, but that's not why I decided to do this tonight. Joel Davis taught me a lot about being a human being. This man here, he fought his whole life. He's not 6'3", 315. If you look at him, he's not. But he never let his size be an obstacle. Everything that he's ever faced in his life, he never looked at it as something to stop him from fulfilling his dream. A hurdle is something you just overcome. It's part of his character. This is what I learned from hanging around with Joel Davis. Joel Davis, at one point, you know, had a nice little sporting card store, and when that store burned down, everything he had worked for was destroyed. Destroyed. I have never seen a human being so broken. In this business, there's a saying, it's not how many times you knock down, it's how many times you get back up. Joel's life has been that motto. I've learned from him, and I've really learned a lot of respect and admiration for this man. I treat him like a brother. You know, I one time had a conversation with my mother, and I told her I was never getting married. She says, someday some little girl's gonna come along, you're gonna fall in love and ain't gonna be able to do anything about it. And that's how we are with the wrestling business. At some point, we all fell in love with the business. TJ, Macho Man, okay? Mine was right here, this man, Chief J. Strongbow. I'm part Native American, and I'm a little kid watching TV, and when Chief would start doing that war dance, I was filled with pride. And maybe for somebody else, it was Strike Force, raising their hands in victory. For somebody else, maybe it was watching the Riley brothers, or maybe even was just being made to laugh by somebody like Jameson. Or even a local show where Sonny Goodspeed would go running to the ring and then act all blown up just getting through the ropes. Ebony Blade, the Storm Brothers. It's just wonderful to be here today with these guys, and I'm so thankful and so grateful. I'm honored for the privilege to induct the newest member of the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2011, my bro, Joel Davis.
Yeah, that's right, full house, man. What a crowd here tonight. Let's hear it for the crowd. The people that make pro wrestling. No, it's not me, Tito. It's everybody. That's right, brother. We've heard it already tonight. If it's not for the people, we wouldn't be having the fame that we have and the notoriety and be able to be in the business and the sport that we love. Professional wrestling, the king of sports. That's right. I love this sport. I'm going to start right up, and Joe told me I got about an hour and a half. Right, Joe? I'm only joking. That's a rip. I'm going to wrap up as quick as I can. Duke like that. Duke, I seen you kick King Kong Bundy's ass at Boston Garden, man. I seen that. I seen you get Bundy. But, you know, to be here, honestly, though, to be here, it is an honor for me. And you know, some people think that I may be have been a shooter. I've had a little heat in the business, but I love the business. A little. But I will say, I mean, it all started when I was a kid. And you know, I went to Jack Ritchie Sports Arena. I seen Chief Jay Strummer versus Stan the Lariat Hansen. And I tell you right, I get out of the way when these guys were battling outside the ring. I was a young guy. That's how it started. Seeing Chief Jay Strummer versus Stan the Lariat Hansen and all the different stars back in the day in the WWF, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. And then as I got older, I continued to admire the sport. I always dreamed about being in the sport. And I seen, you know, I got to mention some of the guys here tonight. I have to do it. You know, I got to mention Rick Martel teaming up with Tony Gurria. And Martel coming with a flying crossbody press and Fuji with the salt to his eyes. And he give the title over to Saito and Fuji. Remember that, Rick? I remember that, and that's great. This guy just made my night by just saying he remembers that, because I remember it, he remembers it. Tito Santana with Ivan Putski, tag team champions. Back in '79, I was 10 years old. I can't mention everybody, but I'm going to mention as much as I can. I'll mention the O'Reilly brothers, Tim and Sean, the O'Reilly brothers, versus the Soul brothers, Tony, Ulysses, and Chris Graham. Remember that? Back in the IWF, Bedlam from Boston, I remember that. John Callahan versus Hulk Hogan on the WWF television taping, right? In Allentown, Pennsylvania. As far as I remember, John Callahan put Hogan over that night. Honestly, I have a lot of stories. I'm going to make it as quick as I can because we have some of the superstars coming up next. But I will say, I do love you all, and thank you very much for being here. I mean that from my heart. Thank you very much for being here at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. I mean that. This means a lot to me. Joe Bruin, let's hear it for Joe Bruin. What a job this guy does every year. I just got 2 stories I'm going to tell you right now, and they're going to be shoots. I have a letter from a promoter named Steve Ricard, but I don't think I should read that to everybody. Read it. Well, I'll tell you this, when I started up with Walter Killer Kowalski. Walter Kowalski, let me tell you what, you don't want to piss that guy off. I showed up one night late for training at Walter's school. He said, Davis, you're not training tonight. I said, Walter, I come up, I want to train. I was late, you know. I said, I want to train. He said, all right, get in the ring with Perry Satin. Perry Satin. Perry Satin kicked my ass. He threw me over the top rope. I hit the floor. Walter laughed. He said, there you go, there you go. That's how I started respecting the business. That was in '91. February 5th, '91, I started training. I remember these dates. I was calling Tommy Savoli from the IWCCW. I called him all the time. I was calling the office. I had no idea he was never in the office. He finally answered the phone at one time. He says, come on down to Laconia, New Hampshire. IWCCW. The main event was Coco Beware, the Birdman versus Kevin Sullivan. Tommy Dreamer versus the late great Big City Mike. Rest in peace, Big City Mike. Freight Train Fulham versus the Haitian sensation Tyree Pride. Taz was on the card that night versus Surfer Ray Odyssey. I remember that. That was my first debut. That was my debut. My first match in pro wrestling. And it was a dream becoming a reality. I worked my ass off in this business, and I love this business. I always will. When I was in that locker room, I said to myself, I said, you know, I'm going for my dream now. I worked with Tubby Muffet, the Irish farm boy. He squashed me in 3 minutes. The only spot I had was I slapped him in the face one time on the ropes. All it did was get him mad, and he pretty much put a beating on me. I got some bruised ribs that night. Then I went down south. I called Superstar Bill Dundee. Superstar Bill Dundee from the USWA. I was calling the Louisville Gardens to try to get a hold of Bill Dundee. I wanted to go to the USWA. I thought that was going to make it, you know. Bill Dundee answered once. He says, "Come on down, kid." I took a bus, 3 days on a bus. Went down to USWA, which was in Louisville, Kentucky, Tennessee, in that area. I met Jamie Ice Baby Dundee. Boy, that guy can party, let me tell you. He woke up every morning with a water bong. It's true stuff. This guy over here, he understands what I mean. I went out there and I went to show to show. I was out there with Sylvester Ritter, the Junkyard Dog, God rest his soul. He was out there working the main events. I just wanted to get on any show I could in either Kentucky or Tennessee, whatever I could do. I worked all there with Chris Champion of the New Breed. I was sitting right next to a boa constrictor in the locker room. I didn't even know it was there. He was working the main event with Bill Dundee. I had my arm on the bag. I thought it was someone's gear. Freaking thing was moving around. It was a boa constrictor. I finally got my shot in Kentucky. I worked in Bowling Green, Kentucky for Dale Mann. He was pissed off because the midget stole his cash box. It's true stuff. This is a true shoot story. I got one more. I worked that show. I worked with Chris Michaels versus the Hit Squad with their manager Rowdy Red. I did nothing but a sunset flip and it got cut off with a shot to the head. Chris Michaels said, "How you doing?" He had to tag out like this. He never tagged in. I got squashed on that. I went to get my payday. I thought I made it. I said, "I'm in Kentucky." I said, "I made it. I'm going to make it in the world of pro wrestling. I'm working down south. I'm from the Northeast. I'm going to get my payday from Dale Mann." I go to get my payday from Dale Mann. I'll never forget it, brothers and sisters. I go down there to get my payday, and there's Dale Mann. He gives it to me like, you know, in his hand. I figure, yeah, you know, he wants to make sure it's kind of, you know, kind of kosher, you know what I mean? He doesn't want anybody to see he's paying me a good payday, you know? So I get in the car with Jamie Dundee. Yeah, I get in the car with Jamie Dundee, and all the women, all the ring rats, everybody's there swarming the car for Jamie Dundee. No one knows who the hell I am. They don't care who I am. I'm from the Northeast. I'm some guy that just got squashed. I get in the car with Jamie Dundee. He says, "You get paid?" I said, "Yeah, I did, brother." He said, "What you got?" I said, "It's a big roll of money. Let me see." I looked at it. It was 10 ones and a 5. I got $15. I love the business. I came back to the Northeast. I continued to work. I worked for the late, great Tony Rumble, the Boston Bad Boy. Tony Rumble gave me a lot of my notoriety. Tony Rumble, I love you, brother. God rest you in peace for Tony Rumble. He put me over CWA, light heavyweight champion against the Pink Assassin, Robbie Fink. And you know, Robbie, what was his name? Pink Assassin. Rob Van Winkle, that's right. And you know, and the thing is, this is, today that I'm here today, and I have made my way through, it has been one heck of a run. What a ride it has been. You know, and everybody, and I want to say this before I conclude, everybody in this business, doesn't matter if it's the Duke of Dorchester, Pete Dorothy, or Tito Santana, former Intercontinental Champion, Rick Martel, Tag Team Champion. Don't matter if it's Chief Jay Strongbow, all-time great. Don't matter if it's Big John Callahan of the O'Reilly Brothers, or Tony Roy, the gentleman of the pro wrestling business. Don't matter who it is. We paid our dues. It's a tough business. We love this business. Thank you. I was mostly a heel, so it's kind of tough for me. But I will say, I got one more story. This is it. I'm going to conclude with this. I promise this is it. I know. I should have went home a long time ago. That's right. I'm just trying to be a glorified jobber right about now. I was in Reading, Pennsylvania working for Ray Torres. No one probably knows who he is. It was Ray Torres and Glenn Seaman. We're working in Reading, Pennsylvania, Regional Championship Wrestling. I went down there and it was me and a ring announcer, the Chef DZ Gillespie, 550 pounds, a big guy. And Trooper Gilmore, who's not here today, he's running the show in Blackstone, Mass. Some people might know Trooper Gilmore. And we were working for Regional Championship Wrestling at the Silo nightclub in Reading, PA. is this true? Okay. And we said, we're going to party after. We all got $25 payday. Said, what the hell? So we party at this nightclub. It was in the same club. And the hotel is right in the same parking lot. So the ring announcer, who's about 120 pounds, he ends up drinking these shots called the Smurf drink. It was a blue drink. He got shit-faced after about 3 of those drinks. So he started talking to all the women in the club. So I said, man, you gotta take it easy. You gotta take it easy. We're partying, you gotta take it easy. We're out of state, take it easy, man. Oh, don't worry about nothing. I got these broads coming over. I told him where our hotel room was. I said, what? Yeah, he said, I told him it was 225. Come on by. Yeah, I know that. He says, come on by the, no, hey, we're gonna keep it clean. He says, come on by the hotel. Anyways, he ends up giving the hotel number to this woman. This woman, her boyfriend is the bouncer at the club, who's a leader of a bike gang, a motorcycle gang. So a little while later, we hear a knock on the door. A little knock on the door. It's the boyfriend. Sorry about that, Chief. It's the boyfriend of the woman that the ring announcer gives the phone number, actually the number of the hotel to. 6 guys show up at the door. Hey, hey. 6 guys show up at the door. They come in, and the ring announcer. I'm going home. I'm going home, man. Come on, man. It took me 21 years to get here. Jesus Christ Almighty. Thank you. Amen. Good God. Praise the Lord. Took me 21 years. I'm not disrespecting. I'm wrapping this up. I just got the cue. I got 5 minutes. I'll make it quicker than 5, though. So they showed up at the door. They come in. They bang on the door. The ring announcer thinks it's the pizza. You order pizza. They come into the room. The ring announcer, I'm gonna call the front desk. He calls the front desk. The front desk guy comes down. He says to the front desk guy, he says, hey, he says, Mac, he says, see what's going on? The front desk guy was in on it. They beat the ring announcer. After all that was done, we thought we were gonna get killed that night. They're serious, okay? Chef Dizzy Gillespie, the 550-pound big man that worked the card that night, after everybody leaves, his comment was, hey, he says, they stole the pies. That's all he worried about. I know everybody's tired because it's been a long run, but you know what? This is my award. I thank Joe Bruin. I know what I've done in the business, and I thank you all. If you like me or hate me, I like you all. It's the real deal, Joel Davis. And one thing I want to say before I conclude. I got one more story. No, I'm only... It's only a rip, okay? We're gonna. I have respect for the veterans. I'm gonna get off the mic right now. All right, Duke. I'm gonna get off the mic right now. But honestly, thank you. Like me or hate me, I am the original real deal of pro wrestling. I want to thank all my family and friends, all the people that came out to see me, all the years in pro wrestling. I love the business. I gave it my all. And now I want to make an announcement. Thank you. Thank you, David. You're a gentleman. You must be exhausted. You were the first guy up. I want to make a quick announcement. I have the team here, Team Overkill, MMA. Earlier this year, I made it my debut in cage fighting. It's a work. It's not a work. Shut up before I kick your ass. I made my debut in cage fighting with Team Overkill. The Boss, Wally Ambrose, Scott Fire Morse, Roughhouse Ryan McLaughlin, the veteran Dana Lakey, Big Time Brian Clark. Right now, what I'm going to do is I am retiring from professional wrestling forever. I take this serious. Goodbye to professional wrestling. I love you all. I've had a great run, and thank you. Tonight is my retirement forever. I will concentrate on MMA and cage fighting. Thank you all.